Just looking up at what I need to know about coronavirus today, and started to look at better sites than news sites, like the World Economic Forum, UN, WHO, the IMF, and they have a lot more information about this stuff than what the news clowns tell us. There's just a lot of people know about what they're calling the Great Reset. This is from their website, International Monetary Fund. So they're thanking Prince Charles and Professor Schwab for bringing everyone together with the COVID. And it's everything's in plain sight. That's the problem, is you don't have to be conspiracy theorists to see this. They openly talk about it, what they're doing. They want to change the world to what they call the Fourth Industrial Revolution. And they pretty much just openly talk about it because they're trying to gather everybody. Wish I could click this. Huh.
How are artificial intelligence, migration, and education connected? How can boosting innovation, reducing inequality, and combating corruption help us to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals?
Now this comes from the people who are the corrupt, trying to save their butts from being charged with their crimes.
The World Economic Forum developed strategic intelligence as a set of cutting-edge digital tools to explore, understand, and anticipate the forces driving transformations around the world. At its heart are the forum's transformation maps. They depict and analyze the interdependencies between a wide range of topics, illustrating how developments in one area can impact others. By drawing on the collective intelligence of the forum's networks, transformation maps explain the factors driving change across industries, economies, and global issues. For example, by disrupting every aspect of technology, the Fourth Industrial Revolution will have a profound impact on governance and affect the scale and character of conflict. That will test the traditional role of governments, even as they confront other challenges such as the aging populations in advanced economies. Transformation maps cover more than 200 topics and are available in multiple languages. Each topic is defined by its key issues, the most strategic trends shaping that topic. Because we are not looking at topics in isolation, but instead at entire systems and transformations, we highlight how the issues depicted in one map are interdependent
Create a
with
new
other maps.
currency.
The content is continuously updated by leading experts from the forum's extensive network. It is supplemented by a machine-curated feed of the latest findings and analysis from top universities and research institutions, and is enhanced by technologies used in machine learning, artificial intelligence, and advanced network analytics. The platform also incorporates economic, social, and political data, as well as time-lapse satellite imagery, allowing you to visualize trends in areas such as sea level rise, deforestation, global trade flows, and the refugee crisis. Strategic intelligence is the World Economic Forum's most advanced knowledge resource you can use to navigate today's increasingly complex
Make
and
everything
interconnected
third world again. Oh God. So look, they really don't hide this. Fourth Industrial Revolution. What it means and how to respond. Just fly under the radar, obey, put your muzzles on. Yeah. Listen carefully.
We are wondering what is happening to the world. Everything is changing.
The very idea of human being some sort of natural concept is really going to change.
Our bodies will be so high-tech, we won't be able to really distinguish between what's natural and what's artificial.
Inside our own heads is the most complex arrangement of matter in the known universe.
and it has a defect.
You might ask yourself, can we get to be superhumans?
We are superhumans. We're super divided. We're super intolerant. We're super brainwashed. But
The
we can
original
get
Industrial
better.
Revolution was driven by the discovery that you could use steam engines to do all kinds of interesting things.
We can upgrade them.
Followed by additional revolutions for electricity and computers and communications technology. We're now in the early stages of the fourth industrial revolution, which is bringing together digital, physical, and biological systems.
One of the features of this fourth industrial revolution is that it doesn't change what we are doing, but it changes us.
Eugenics.
With the ability to visualize brain activity, for example, through a simple consumer-based EEG device, it gives us access to ourselves in ways that we've never before thought possible. It unlocks the black box that is the brain and enables us to really, truly be able to realize an identity that is aspirational.
There's now a scientific foundation for the effects of mindfulness on the brain, on the genome, on biological aging. And when the human mind does know itself, then you get the potential for a new renaissance that restructures itself in terms of our relationship to life, our relationship to the planet, our relationship to work.
We need a different economic model.
Yeah.
By that, I don't mean capitalism versus
All the rich
communism.
people aren't rich
what
enough.
What I'm talking about is a shift in the system along the lines of the two big changes that happened in the 20th century, Keynesianism, with a much greater focus on health and education and the role of government working with business, and then a reaction against that in late century to neoliberalism, where the focus was on free markets, freedom of the individual, and getting governments out of the way. We need a shift to a new system that will allow us to meet the basic needs of every human on the planet, that will live within planetary means, that will be fairer, and that will be focused as its key goal, not on growth per se, but on maximizing human well-being. And
for all of us, right?
That a value shift
not all of
is triggered by creation of a new story about how we want to live.
I see the circular economy as something which fits very closely with mankind's goal.
Does that mean
to
like
be
we can just go
innovative
and
creative and
loot
to always
Buckingham
progress?
Palace?
We can use asset tracking,
all
we can
the
use
gold?
IT, we can use 3D printing to enable
fair,
this different economic model to
more
recover
fair.
materials, feed them back into the economy, and really to decouple growth from the resource
Like
constraints
the
we have.
UN panel, I want that giant sign in the back.
The reason we
Flat
live
Earth
in
on
cities is not different today than it was 10,000 years ago. Even if we have got networks connecting us, we still want to have places where we meet in person. So this means the place where we work and the place where we live are much closer to each other, a city where we don't need to have big supply chains in order to produce things, where many things can be sourced locally thanks to
you get it,
3D
right?
printing and robotics. So if
We
we're
really
able
have to
do
listen
something
to like
transform cities,
11
to
more
make them more
minutes of
efficient,
nonsense,
then the impact
making people more efficient. We're
Think
not
about the
efficient
prospect of getting rid of plastics. We must not only be inspired or informed by nature, but actually use natural organisms with which to design products and building parts. Only instead of varying material properties, we're varying biological functionality.
Design is critical today because it's the first signal of human intention. So the question of adding quality to quantity
this guy
isn't a matter
needs,
of simply
like,
circulating things that are
to live
potentially toxic.
longer.
It's circulating things that are safe and healthy for all generations. So the goal is no longer
We all have to hide inside
because
this guy's afraid of the sniffles. But he's all concerned
it's
about
really
our health.
About a diverse, safe, healthy, and
Diverse,
just world
safe,
with clean
healthy.
air, clean
Diverse,
water,
safe, healthy.
clean soil,
Diverse, safe,
clean
healthy.
energy.
McDonald's, Walmart. Oh,
Together
Leo!
we're fighting to preserve our fragile climate from irreversible damage and devastation of unthinkable
Drove a jet to the podium.
If we think about the original Industrial Revolution, it was an energy revolution. I like to think of it as a kind of bookending of a period in human history during which we used fossil fuels, and it worked very well for us for a long time. But now we have to bring that to an end. We have energy technologies that can power our civilization: solar, wind, biomass. So then the question is, well, how do we get the integration? Maybe the wind is blowing in Denmark, the sun is shining in Germany, and now you can move that electricity through an integrated grid. You can supply energy to everyone
See, some
who
of the
needs
things
it,
make
and
sense,
you can
right?
supply
Yeah,
energy
that's good.
at all
They
times.
just do it. You don't have to have the Great Reset. You don't have to destroy everyone's life to turn them into little fucking bot fucking maids. We're gonna be babysitting bots.
Walking
We're
around,
beta
you
testers.
do see different stuff. As far as like
I'm
the
a
body
beta
marriage
tester.
line, they use a lot of things that help them lift up
machines.
and move things to the car.
I
You
might
just
get
sit
bumped
there
in the
and
head by one of
program
these things
something,
and chased down
and
the street by it.
it has its own set mind to go ahead and do everything. And then as humans, we just come in and take the extra step to help the technology.
It's
we
not
don't do our
the
job no
cure-all
more.
for everything. There's definitely a lot of things where people perform the operation better, but certainly for the right applications, robotics are a huge improvement for the process.
The prediction of 5 million jobs lost by 2020 to technology is serious, but it's not the main question. Construction, manufacturing, services, public health and education, these industries will still exist. The main question is, what will be the future of work? How will we define work? How will we share the wealth?
Made mountains
from the viewpoint
of
the labor
debt.
or jobs.
Why?
Now we really need new education or new training.
We're working with a World in Motion and First Robotics, trying to encourage students from 3rd grade all the way up through the end of high school. We had students make sailboats, and then we had them race them, and so they could see how quickly they could move. And they immediately went back and started to say, oh, I saw what happened, I'm going to go change this or that. And that was 3rd graders.
I just given a prize to a kid of 18 years old that has discovered something really very, very unique. Came up with how to get better productivity and better yields for seeds, of corn. And so he basically came with the idea that if you would perforate these seeds, you would get more food. And you think about it and say, but he didn't go to university. So how does he get all that knowledge? And he told me, I mean, I've been watching YouTube since the age of 12, and I'm so interested that I've seen everything about it. I've read everything about it.
Control YouTube so that they only spew what you want them to say.
How do you give the incentive to your kids to do that?
Let the autoplay run
It's
their whole
this
life.
ability of digital technology to change outcomes, to truly empower people all over the world that can create a more equitable growth. Because I think the world needs that.
Equitable world.
Fourth industrial revolution has the potential to make inequalities visible and to make them less acceptable in the future, and hopefully to gather and garner political support to take the necessary decision to reduce the gap.
Now is the time to change.
Humans have always been using tools, but because of the recent advances in technology, we're beginning to have machines that can augment us in all sorts of interesting ways.
You created little machines that are smart.
I was the first person in the world
Now
to be able to
they're
voluntarily
running
move my
like,
legs
oh, we should
while
just follow
stepping in a
these guys.
robot by exciting the nervous system using electrical stimulators directly onto the spine. We believe that a cure will be possible if enough of the right people have the will to fast-track a cure for paralysis.
Yes, that's great. That's super.
We
My
take two
kids
things
don't
from the
need an
patients.
upgrade,
First, we take a 3-dimensional X-ray and we extract the 3-dimensional data out of that so we can make a perfectly shaped puzzle piece. And then we also take a sample of fat tissue from the patient so that we can extract the stem cells out of those. And we use those stem cells with this 3-dimensional scaffold that we fabricate. And after 3 weeks, we have a piece of living bone that's ready for implantation.
From the person who wrote a farm and
being able to use genome editing to understand the genetic changes that lead to cancer, and technologies like drug delivery, getting molecules into particular types of cells. There's a lot of excitement about being able to move much more quickly on this disease.
One of the things that I think is so essential to free and open societies is freedom of thought. And up until now, the conversation we've been having is around freedom of speech. Once we can access people's thoughts and access people's emotions, we have to create a space that enables people to think freely, to think divergent thoughts, to think creative thoughts. And in a society where people fear having those thoughts, the likelihood of being able to enjoy progress is significantly diminished.
We need to take responsibility at every level of society, from the individual and the personal to the institutional to the global, to adapt to these technological challenges and changes,
all
which
women
are
and men are
redefining
created
what
by
it
the
means to
thing.
be human, what it means to work,
You know the
what
thing?
it means to be completely embedded in this world.
People always ask me if I'm an optimist or pessimist. The technology exists, but how do we get it and implement it at the scale we need at a price that people around the world can afford?
Even though we have everyday problems we have to solve, we have to find a way to lay the foundations for the innovations of tomorrow.
They brainwashed the youth to be socialist, intolerant, offended little rainbow unicorns. And now they want the control. They want the controller to your kids. It's great. Dun, dun, dun. So they're working with the UN. Fucking Hitler 2.0 there. They got smiles though, that's nice. They like made sure not to grow little mustaches because they were like, they are going to notice us a fucking mile away. So yeah, that's the future, boys and girls. Enjoy. Have a good one. Enjoy the big show.